Okay, so we got conflicting reports here.
Oh, no.
Okay, so a guy named Moose from Moose and Maggie on WFAN, The Fan, in New York City, says that as he reported this morning on Moose and Maggie WFAN, sources told me that the Browns and the Vikings are in discussions on a trade that would send Odell Beckham Jr. to the Vikings for a second and fifth round pick next year. Trade is not done, but the deal is being discussed. Okay. Then Football Chops, who is a verified account, deputy editor, Complex Sports, says that we haven't dropped an interview yet, but Schefter told them yesterday that the Browns are not trading Odell Beckham Jr. So are you going to listen to Schefter or are you going to listen to Moose from Moose and Maggie WFAN? Moose says that his sources told him that the Browns are going to deal Odell Beckham Jr. for a second and a fifth round pick next year. And Chops is like, nah, Schefter told us that ain't happening. Very interesting. Conflicting reports. Who could the Moose know? And who does the Schefter know? Everybody. Who does the Moose know? Maybe one person that has good inside information. If it's Odell Beckham Jr. for a second and a fifth round pick, which would be worse than what DeAndre Hopkins was traded for, would we bury the Cleveland Browns for doing so? Or would we appreciate and respect the fact that they're trying to start anew with their own guys, new contracts, and such? That is a real question that's going to be asked. And if the Vikings, you just got rid of Stephon Diggs, no idea why. Stephon Diggs seemed to not enjoy being a Viking. He erased all of his Viking stuff from his social media. He threw his helmet in a playoff game. There's been more than one occasion. He got fined $200,000 last year for stuff. I assume the relationship between Stephon Diggs and the Vikings was over long before he was traded to the Bills. But now you bring in Odell Beckham Jr., who's a superstar wide receiver whenever he's healthy and playing. You get Kirk Cousins, who says it would be refreshing to play in front of no fans. And is that offense back on top, just like they were last year when they won a playoff game down in New Orleans with a potential push-off from friend of the show, Kyle Rudolph?
If I were the Browns, I wouldn't do it. I mean, if you lose Odell, you go from having incredible weapons to looking again for a second wide receiver.
But, they just brought in Austin Hooper. They have Njoku, right? They have Chubb, and they saw what the Baltimore Ravens were able to do with multiple tight ends in a good running game. What do you only need one weapon. They have Adam Thielen. You have Kyle Rudolph, for Cleveland. They still have Jarvis Landry. You have Chubb in the back. You have two very good tight ends. I would assume that if you have Odell Beckham Jr., that's going to help out your offense regardless because there's probably going to be safety help. But if you don't want that contract and you want to restart anew, is that somebody you're willing to deal? This is very interesting. Conflicting reports means it has come up in conversation by somebody. Who knows, though? If Shefty's saying it's not going to happen, I believe Shefty more than I do Moose. No offense, Moose. So sorry to interrupt. If you're a man watching this, you deserve to have long, great and you can do that now with our friends at Roman. Right now, you go to GetRoman.com. You get $10 off and free 2-day shipping on Roman swipes, which are guaranteed to make you have longer, more fulfilling every time you get in the sack. Now, let's get back to the fornicating action.
Is this on? I can't even hear it. Could Stefanski be
so
a rogue
I think like
agent?
The thing about that is...
Yeah, fair enough. Fair. Yes. I can't hear myself. I don't know. Those up-downs must have done something.
No, I was going to act as if we couldn't hear you, but we definitely could. What were you going to say about Stefanski? Who's at the Browns, by the way?
Is he possibly a rogue agent for the Vikings like Mike Zimmer? Is Zimmer adopting the Belichick rogue agent?
Well, the thing about Stefanski is I don't think his loyalty would lie with the Vikings. I think it would lie with Harvard more so than anything. Andrew Berry, GM, Harvard guy. Stefanski, Harvard guy. If we know anything about the Ivy League, folks, it's that they run deep together.
You also don't need a secret agent to pillage the Browns. They'll do it on their own.
Oh, come on.
This is a new era for the Browns in the dog pound.
Yeah, it's been a couple new eras. Yeah,
yeah, but Freddie Kitchens' era was an era we all knew was doomed to fail, except for me who picked him to win the Super Bowl. Okay, I like Andrew Berry. I trust Andrew Berry, the GM. I wanted him to be the coach GM when he was like 25 years old. That's how impressed I was with the guy. Now, granted, he brought in an advisor that I don't fully understand, but if he wants to rebuild anew with his own group, and we talked to Austin Hooper last week, he said he wants to bring in blue-collar guys, hard-working guys. Odell Beckham Jr. is very good at football. I'm 100% sure he's a hard-working guy to get to that pace, but if that doesn't You know, if that's not the guy in the environment you want to move forward, trade them for whatever you can. Is that a smart move? I don't think a second and a fifth rounder next year is the right move.
Well, and if that's the case, doesn't it stand to reason that a bunch of other teams would come to the plate if it's like, hey, it's only going to take a second and a fifth next year to get this guy?
Somebody might have used Moose to get the word out that Odell is potentially getting on the trading block. So Moose might have been a pawn in this whole thing. He doesn't even know it.
Maybe
Moose doesn't even know it.
Maybe now's a good time just to call Andrew and like catch up, see how things are going.
Andrew Barry?
Yeah.
We got to get to a break because we got Joe Sherbert from the Cleveland Browns last year. Just signed a big deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You trading Odell? I am live. I'm live and expect me to say the answer. All right. I've texted Jake Glazer today, Goskowski, and now Andrew. This is what our show's becoming.
Insider.
By the way, if I get an inside information and we break it right here, big day for the YouTube. Big day for the YouTube.